I really don't think we talk about it enough. Besides maybe CS, maybe engineering, the vast majority of people that I talk to that have graduated from college and are at their professions have not learned one thing from their college education that they're using in their jobs. Even most finance jobs. You don't need econ for that. You don't need theoretical models. God forbid, you don't need physics to be a doctor. Are you serious? It's just like, come on, man. Really?
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
I just got finished watching a video of an interview by the author Robert Kiyosaki, which, if you don't know who Robert Kiyosaki is, he's the author or one of the authors of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And if you don't know what that book is, it's probably my most recommended book for people who are just starting out and trying to understand more about money and finances. That book is literally Bible. A segment of that interview touched on the topic of why schools don't teach money or finances or any of that stuff in school. And I have some strong opinions on this. I've kind of touched on it in the comments of some of my videos before in the past, but I truly believe that our society is not really set up for most people to really win financially. The time kids are turning 18, they're getting pushed with student loans. They're getting pushed with credit cards and car loans and all that stuff, which, side note, I actually think credit cards are great. I love utilizing credit cards, but the thing is you have to be smart with them. And a lot of 18-year-olds are not smart with their money. And it's because they're not learning it in school. And everyone knows that. Like, these credit card companies, these loan companies, they know that these kids aren't educated, and so they prey on them. A lot of this lack of financial literacy is generational too. You know, they weren't teaching this in school when our parents were in school, and then their parents are in school, and that knowledge isn't getting funneled down to the current generation. But the thing is, I would think at this point, you know, the government, society, whatever, would see it as an opportunity to do some correction on a mass scale. Like, I don't know, how about we take out home economics and teach personal finance and taxes? But I think it's kind of sus that there hasn't been any sort of initiative to do that. And that's literally why I go so hard on this account for promoting financial transparency and financial literacy, because ain't nobody gonna do it for you, okay? In fact, they're actively working against you, trying to educate yourself. And I'm not for that, okay? I want us to do better, and I want our future generations to do better, and all of that starts with now. Some food for thought for whoever's watching this. Please take it seriously, your finances and the decisions you make with your money, because honestly, a lot of the stuff that we're doing now, the decisions that we're making with our money, whether we're investing it, whether our money is growing, or whether we're just like throwing it down the drain, it's not only going to affect our lives, but it's going to affect our future generations. And I know it's very important for me, for my kids to understand, you know, finances and stuff like that, but for me to be able to start them off on the best footing, because they're going to be able to do that for their kids and so on and so forth. So it really starts with the now. But anyways, just me rambling.
I can't stand it when people are like, why didn't they teach me this in school? They actually did. You just didn't pay attention. Like, I swear to you, the people that say this were the ones that always, like, skip class or, like, were on their phones or sleeping, or they just didn't pay attention. And, like, the perfect example of this is I saw a video of this girl, and she was like, why didn't they teach me in school, like, where Hawaii was on a map? She was like, I always thought it was, like, directly next to California, but, like, apparently it's in the middle of the ocean. And in the comments were like, oh my god, like, they didn't teach me this either. Yes, they did, bro. They taught you basic fucking geography. You just didn't pay attention. Or you'll have the people who are like, oh, like, why didn't they ever teach me, like, finances or stuff like this? And it's like, no, they actually did. They taught you basic math and math. Now you have to go and apply that to whatever you want to, like, figure out, all right? Whether it's finances, whatever it may be. But they taught you the foundations, all right? You just didn't pay attention. Like, that's why you're struggling, all right? It's not because you don't understand finances. It's because you don't understand basic math, because you didn't pay attention. And it kills me every single time, because look, like, for some stuff, yes, they may have not taught it actually in school, but for like 95% of the things that you're complaining about, they taught it in school, all right? But your ass was skipping class or doing whatever it was, but not paying attention. So now you want to complain about everybody else for your own fault.
So my little sister just started her first job, and she didn't work a few weeks, and she still didn't get paid. So I'm like, well, do you know when you get paid? Because black people, that's one of the first questions we ask when we start a job when do I get my first check? And then they asked the coworkers, how much was your first check? So she was like, yeah, I was supposed to get paid on the 29th, but I still haven't got no money yet. So I'm asking her, like, do they do your first check as a paper check or a mail check or whatever? And she was like, nah, it's supposed to be direct deposit. So I'm like, did you make sure all your stuff was matching up, like your account number, your route number? She confident. She like, yeah, everything was matching. So I'm like, okay, when you go back to work, first thing you need to do is go to HR and make sure they put your stuff in correctly and make sure all your stuff matching up. So she ended up getting an email, and they basically emailed her saying, you know, your direct deposit was sent back because your account information and routing information didn't match. So I thought about it. I'm like, this is my sister's first job. So she probably don't even know how to access her account stuff. Some just told me to ask her, like, what did you put down for your account and routing information? Yeah, why did this girl put her debit card number as her account number? So I'm telling her, like, that's not your account number. Your account number is not your debit card number. It's your actual account number connected to your debit card on your banking app. She gonna say, well, the bank knew it was me. Like, they should have still gave me my money. Like, we really the new adults. Like, seriously.
I'm convinced that whoever started school hours for kids also invented the daycare because they knew you would need to put your kids somewhere while you're still stuck at work until 5 p.m. Because there's no way they were like, okay, let's design school to be from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. The parents have to work 9 to 5. Who's going to pick my kids up after school? And where are they going to go for those other 2.5, 3 hours? The daycare, right? So y'all just wanted to make money off of us. Got it. Just understand everything is just about money.
If I was given 1 year to fix a public education system, here's what I would do. Day 1, first order of business, homework is illegal across the board. Homework almost undeniably ruins the educational experience for students. Number 1, it takes time away from them at the end of the day and prevents them from doing even more extracurricular activities. I myself have been assigned so much homework that it would take me upwards of 2 to 3 hours to get it done before the next day. Now imagine working an 8-hour shift, getting home and having to keep working for 2 to 3 hours unpaid. That's basically what homework is for students. And the reason I say unpaid is because homework does not enhance the learning experience at all. In fact, it makes kids resent going to school. And ultimately, the time that students would spend doing homework, they would spend with their families. Imagine that. That just might fix society altogether. So yeah, no more homework. And in that same spirit, second order of business, do you know what else is going to be banned? Standardized tests. Standardized testing is just another waste of time that has no tangible results when it comes to enhancing the educational experience. How does it make sense that students spend an entire year, instead of learning actually important things, learning how to pass a test? A test, mind you, that has no positive attributes when it comes to the student. Also, can we acknowledge how the word standardized should be a dead giveaway as to how useless these tests are? If there's one thing that should not be standardized, it's education. We are dealing with millions of young minds that should each have a tailor-made experience, but instead, all these tests do is reinforce a one-size-fits-all approach, which explains why a lot of the educational system is garbage. Speaking of tailor-made experiences, number 3 on my list, no more unnecessary courses. If an 11th grader has been musically inclined for his whole life, is now showing signs of interest in that field, why on earth is that child being forced to learn trigonometry? Instead of giving him a piano, we are giving him a calculator. Why? Why? And you might go, well, they can just learn that instrument at home, and they probably could if they weren't so busy doing homework. You see the issue? Elementary and high school should be the breeding ground for creativity and innovation, and this school system is destroying that. And one more thing I would make sure that every child in the American school system eats properly at school. How do you expect a child to focus if all they've eaten is a boiled hot dog and some corn? I swear they eat way more sugar than protein. I swear all these changes are so simple and easily doable that it's almost suspicious the fact that they haven't been done. Johan, are you insinuating that these things are done intentionally? Well, yeah. Homework was not designed as a tool to help your child understand assignments. It was designed as a punishment for unbehaved students. Standardized testing was not designed to help kids learn anything. It was designed to help them stay quiet. The school system that we have today was not designed by a person who wants innovation in the country. It was designed by somebody who wants workers, silent, submissive workers. But I say all of that and suddenly I'm the crazy one.
Okay, I don't know what this dude is talking about right here. Homework does help you learn. It helps you to practice the things that you learn in class. Here's the thing about human learning. We learn by doing. And so if we just read, it's not enough. We need to apply the things that we learn. That is the best way to learn. And homework is just the application of the material that you learn in school. That's basically what it is, right? And I think that we do need homework, although at times homework is just either unhelpful or is just too long or too short. And so I think that if homework is done right, students learn a lot by doing homework that is actually helpful to them. So I'm definitely going to have to disagree with this guy.
I'm a 21-year-old computer science student in my junior year of college now, and I feel like I've learned next to nothing. Let me preface this by saying that I feel like it's solely my fault and my responsibility. I feel like throughout my college career, I was just cutting corners and not really dedicating time to learn the information that was presented to me. I feel like I was just slacking off and not really seriously taking my future serious. I was just going by. I was just floating by. I was just going through the motions, and as a result of that, I feel like I'm in this predicament right now where I know some basics, but I'm definitely not where I need to be. I feel like I've always had a problem with procrastination and staying consistent, and I would always put things off until like the last minute or the last second, and as a result of that, I would just be turning in just rushed, messy work instead of actually putting in effort in allowing myself to submit my best work or to perform at my best. I was always pushing things until like the last second, and I don't want that to be me anymore. I understand that I can change, and I feel like I am willing to change, and I want to truly commit to this. This is why I made this
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
I know too many people with degrees and not enough people with knowledge and wisdom. And don't let that go over your head, okay? School could teach you certain things, but it cannot give you knowledge and wisdom. It cannot give you that. It can't give you self-love. It can't give you a lot of things. And I'm not saying school isn't important, but school is just one of the things that you need. Like, just because you have a degree don't mean shit. It really do not mean shit. Like, you really have to have other things too that make sense and that matter, like knowledge and wisdom. And a lot of y'all do not have that.
If you in the American school system right now, always remember that they care more about you passing than you actually learning. When I was in elementary school, we could not make it past the second grade if we were not able to read. And now I'm hearing there's a lot of 8th graders out there that cannot read and write. How you can't read and write in 8th grade, boy? And I thought to myself, is it the kids? Or do the teachers not give a fuck no more? When I was in middle school, if your grades weren't good, they were putting you in Saturday school. But I ain't gonna lie, as soon as I got to high school, I realized they do not care about you even learning, as long as you pass. So at this point, you don't gotta play by the rules. I was cheating on every single test and homework assignment, because what's the point if you don't care if we learn the curriculum? But this is where everything goes downhill for America. Listen to this. If everybody cheating on they shit in college, who's gonna be our doctors and nurses in the future, my nigga? I can't have no doctor that was cheating on their homework in med school. Imagine you gotta go into an emergency surgery and your surgeon is your dumbass homie Zay from college used to cheat with every single day. I would have told the doctor Zay can't be my surgeon. Me and Zay used to cheat every single day in med school.
The biggest problem with the American education system that nobody talks about is that it fucks up the smart kids. Like, we talk about how it's completely fucked for underserved students, which is true. We talk about how public schools don't get enough funding, which is true. One of the reasons why America is going to get lapped by China, by Russia, by other global superpowers is that most really smart kids are deeply afraid of failure and don't work that hard because of our education system. If you grow up really smart, there's no incentive for you to kill it. Like, you just get this sense of perfectionism. People start to praise you. You're known as the smart kid. And then your whole sense of self-esteem comes from doing everything right the first time. So you don't actually take risks. Gradually, your love of learning and joy of actually just solving hard problems gets replaced with a crippling fear of failure and feeling like you're never doing enough. And then what happens is these kids go to Ivy League schools and get more jobs where they get more external affirmation. And then we get a whole bunch of smart kids that are insecure consultants and investment bankers that pour all that money back into the fucking therapy system. Buy BetterHelp stock. And then getting that dependent on external affirmation means unless you have really rich parents, you're not going to take the risk and go start a company or go, do something a little crazy, which is why that saying, the B students work for the A students who work for the C students is so true. Some of the richest, most successful people out there were dumb and bad at school. And they just had the balls to go for it because they weren't so dependent on doing everything perfectly, which obviously is how the world works in the vacuum that is a consulting firm and PowerPoint slides. It's not how the actual world works when it comes to really building something of value. So that's why I think our education system fucks up smart kids. I think it happened to me, okay? I'm kind of dumb, kind of smart too. But was this a Senor College miss, or did this really make you feel seen? I don't know. Comment below. Follow for more sauce.
Here is the thing, right? If you were a C student, you hated being told what to do and you found your own ways to do things. So a lot of the students who were okay in school but not good in school, those were the ones who were more than likely to start their own firms one day and all of these things. And the reason for that is because from an early age, they learn how to think on their own. They learn how to make choices for themselves on their own. If you want to be a business owner, you have to be able to think outside the box. You have to be able to get used to doing things very differently than other people. And at the end of the day, if you follow the masses, they will probably lead you to what everybody else is doing. And as a business owner, you have to do something different. That's why you own a business, right? And most people have jobs. That's why. You are choosing a different path. And so it makes sense.
I'm so sick of hearing people say, oh, you should have went to school and got an education. School don't equal education all the time for everybody. Just because you go to school does not mean you're going to learn what it is that somebody else learns. A lot of people don't learn the same. So they go to school, but it's a waste. It doesn't matter because they don't understand. Everybody don't get it. And that's okay. But it's people out here that make those people ashamed and embarrassed. They feel some type of way. They feel like they're not, they're not worthy just because they didn't learn the same. Just because they didn't understand, and maybe they was too afraid to ask for help, for more help, because you ask for help and now you're dumb. Somebody want to call you dumb. Like, it's just the cycle of abuse is real nasty. It's real nasty, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it, and I'll be the voice for everybody. I don't care. It don't bother me. I remember sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Like, they never hurt. Like, your words, some people, they let those words penetrate them, and it gets inside of them, and then they start to take on those nasty things. I'm not her. So I'm gonna speak for those people who have not been able to speak up for themselves, that school did them no good. School did not help them. They didn't learn nothing at school. They just went because they was forced to go to school. If you didn't go to school, it meant, you got to get out, or, you can't live in this house if you don't go to school, like those type of things. But that's a topic for a whole nother day. But it's a lot of people, a lot of kids right now today in school who are struggling so hard because they sit in this classroom with 30 other kids, and the help that they need, they don't get. But then they're labeled as they don't listen. They don't do their work. They don't know how to do it. So yeah, if just because you got an education at school and it worked out well for you, you need to be giving thanks to God that it worked out for you, because it don't work out for everybody. And unfortunately, those people, they go through life struggling because they end up needing help. They end up needing help. They end up needing government assistance. They end up needing some more support because they didn't have it. Whether they didn't get it from home or whether they didn't get it from school, wherever the lack was that they didn't get the support that they needed, they still struggling because they need help. God dang. Y'all want to know why college students are so broke? They've been set up from the very beginning. As someone with almost 2 degrees, I feel like I'm the person that's perfect to break this down to y'all. I literally was on campus getting my bachelor's degree, right? Because I was a commuter, where all of my commuters. Literally, while I was in class, I parked my car on the school lane, like the parking for the school. Mind you, I have a parking pass. Don't you know I came up to a ticket on my car? The ticket was $80. How are you gonna give somebody who goes to the school a ticket while they're in class? My tuition should cover parking wherever I want to park on this campus, because my tuition is paying for these rebuilds and remodels and all this stuff. And that's the crazy thing about schools. When you go to a school, they do all this remodeling after you leave, but then want to charge you for parking on campus. Number 2, they got you paying for every little thing. Books. Why is books not included in the tuition? Access code. Why is access codes not included in the tuition? It really make you wonder, what am I paying in the tuition? Like, what do I get with that? Just to be here? Nothing else comes with that? Nothing else comes with that? Then in order to afford college, unless your parents were well off to put money to the side for you, you gotta take out a loan to attend. Or if you're lucky enough to qualify for scholarships or know somebody that can help you get your tuition down. And yeah, you could go get a job, but you can't even work the hours you really want to work because you got class. And you can't get a high paying job because you don't have no experience. So do you see how from the very beginning, college students were screwed?
I'm seeing a lot of people talk about how the American education system may have been bad, but a lot of people just weren't paying attention in class. Is that true, or is it honestly more true that you probably just didn't go to a bad school? Because if you grew up in an inner city school, you went to a school at the poverty line, you would know that a lot of this material actually just wasn't getting taught. It was hard to keep teachers in there. Most people who went to an inner city school, you probably had more than 4 or 5 substitutes in one single semester. If you didn't have that experience, you probably went to a decent school, and so then kids probably weren't paying attention. You might be talking about them, but this is a geographical issue. And a lot of y'all don't want to really unpack that, because we always forget that America is not a monolith and there's so many different things that are going on. I want you to remember that. Some people didn't get taught this. The school I went to when I moved down south, they didn't even teach me Christopher Columbus discovered Hispaniola. They were still saying he discovered America. The Taino people, the Dominicans and Haitians, out the book, didn't even know who those were.
Let me ask you, bro. Tell me what high school actually taught you. Because for me, I have never once used a squared plus b squared equals c squared once. They taught me that when I was like, in 9th grade. I've never used that in the real world at all. I honestly believe if I had dropped out of high school after my junior year, bro, my education level would honestly be the same. Because we have phones, now we have ChatGPT, bro. AI can make learning so quick to just grasp information, bro. Like, what is the purpose of high school? Like, when I was a senior, I took an economics class 2nd semester, and that's probably one of the coolest classes I took, because we actually kind of learned about money. And I feel like things that you actually need in real life, bro, is how to have financial literacy. Like, be financially responsible. Like, trying to build credit is things they should teach you in school. I'm learning how to do all that, bro. I'm almost in my mid-20s, and I need to learn that quick. Like, learning how to do your taxes. Why don't they teach you how to do your taxes in school? Because if you don't do your taxes, you can go to jail, and no one wants to go to jail. But why don't they teach that in school? Like, you would think that they will teach you that in school. It's almost like people want to learn to have how to become entrepreneurs, and then when you start making all this money, you don't know how to manage all your money. Why don't they teach you this in school? I remember hearing a pastor once on my church say that at a youth conference, that school wants you to be a worker bee. Like, they don't want you to work for yourself, bro. They don't. Like, people will talk about, I don't know, not wanting to be an entrepreneur, bro. I think working for yourself is honestly one of the best things you can do. I'm trying to learn that myself. Like, when 2020 happened, bro, people lost their jobs. That's when I first learned that you have to have multiple streams of income. And that's what I'm trying to learn as well. Cause you look at all these dudes on YouTube, bro, online, like, you just had, Streamers University, Agent dropping so many gems, bro. You have Instagram, a way to make money. You have YouTube. You have Twitter. You have so many. You have Kick. You have Twitch. I just feel like, for me personally, I have no excuse not to be able to make money. Like, not everybody might be a millionaire, bro, but a lot of people can make 6 figures, bro. Like, I think it's possible to just be successful and make money off the internet and just, I don't know, just be successful and just make money, bro. Like, so many things they should have taught you in high school, they don't teach you. I feel like I've learned more from Instagram, from Twitter, and ChatGPT than I have in school, bro. Really. Like, I really don't. I'm trying to think, like, what did high school really teach me? Like, obviously, if you're in high school, bro, finish high school because a lot of things, opportunities, you need a high school diploma at least. So finish high school, obviously, but it's like, what did high school really teach you? Because I really don't know.
Guys, for me personally, I didn't learn much in school, honestly. I didn't learn much in school. There are only 2 skills that I've learned in school that I use to this day and I will continue to use for years to come. That is, number 1, learning how to research, like in-depth, deep research. That will help you in life. That skill will take you very far in life because most people, as I have come to find out, are not good at research. They do not know how to get information that they need. And usually it takes hours. And number 2, how to code. I code to this day. In fact, I code every single day. And so I think that that skill has carried me so far. And there are a lot of tools that actually help you to code a lot faster and can actually do the code for you. All you have to do is learn how to use the tools in order to get the results that you want.
You know, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that the children aren't learning. That's not the teacher's fault. We're teaching. The problem is that what you all don't want to say, well, why are the kids smarter? We were smarter then than the kids are now. That's because we didn't have iPhones, iPads. You all can remember when the most tech thing that we had was a beeper. And we're competing with all of this things, and you said, well, AI is teaching more. Well, yeah, AI is teaching, but it's sometimes not teaching the right thing. Your kids are looking at porn. Your kids are looking at things that they shouldn't be looking at, and they're becoming wise in one way, but not wise in another way. If you ask these kids to write a subject-verb agreement, they couldn't do it. Can you underline the subject-verb agreement in a sentence? They can't do it. So, but their attention span is very short. They said that one time SpongeBob, that the children who watch SpongeBob, their attention span was very short because they use those little quick, short, little cues, and that's what the children are used to now. So we can't get a child to focus on the right thing, and that's beginning to be it's not beginning, it's a huge problem. We have a lot of ADHD out here. We have a lot of problems that a lot of parents don't want to hear about concerning their child. It may be mental, it may be behavior, which is mental, but you can't sit and say that it is just the teacher's fault. That doesn't have anything to do with the Department of Education, and it doesn't have anything to do with the teachers. We didn't have all the things that children have now. We had to read. We had to research. Do y'all remember that? When you had to go to the library and you had to go and research that stuff. Remember that back in the day? These children have everything, and they're retaining for the moment, but not for longevity. You'll get that on your way home. They're retaining for the moment. If I teach something Monday, do you know these children are looking at me like it's Greek on Tuesday? They're learning to take a test for the next day, but it's not retaining in their system because it's very quick. They're doing things very quick. If it's not to rap music or music, they have completely shut off. So you can't say the teacher, if the students aren't learning, you need to be doing better parenting.
Something that they don't teach you in school is literally everything you need to know about personal finance and money in your 20s and how powerful it is to start early. And living at home for my first year post-grad has allowed me to have the time to dive into the world of personal finance, investing, saving, budgeting, all of the things, money that they don't teach you. I have listened to hours and hours and hours of podcasts on this topic. I love talking about money. There's so many things that they don't tell you that will help set you up for a more successful future. It will help you be less stressed about money. If you don't prioritize investing and saving in your younger years, you're just going to be working harder your whole rest of your life. Whereas you can be working smarter when you're young, saving, investing, and working towards reaching financial freedom. I could truly go on and on about this subject, so I think I'm going to make this a series where I'll do just a different thing that I've learned about money, budgeting, investing, saving, a paycheck breakdown, what I make in my side hustles versus what I make in my salary. Stay tuned for part 1.
Guys, the main reason why we do not learn about money in schools, even if you are a business major, they teach you all the theoretical stuff, cool, but the real practical application of that knowledge, they do not teach you. The main reason for this is that if everybody was financially literate, if everybody knew how money worked and how to do all these things, then it would not be profitable to the guys in power, to the big banks, the large institutions, hedge funds, and all of these large companies, big players in the markets. They will not be able to use your lack of knowledge to their advantage. Guys, the system was built to exploit the ignorant people in society. And so if you are ignorant and you do not know, you are at a great disadvantage in society, just because people who do know take advantage of the ones who do not know. It has been like this for many years. And so if you do not want to get exploited in the system, you have to learn about what money is, how money works, and everything about money pretty much, and how to really build wealth from the ground up, how to build it and how to keep it. And if you do not know that, then, you're cooked. But I think that is the main reason why, is because it's not helpful to the small amount of people that actually benefit from financial ignorance.
Y'all, I absolutely feel for the younger generation. I do not know what in the hell they are teaching kids in school nowadays, but they're definitely not teaching them how to count money. Like, for example, I went to the store today and I handed the girl, my order was like $10 and like 19 cents. And anyway, I handed her a $20 bill and then a quarter so that she could give me back a $10 bill and a couple cents. And she looks at me and she's like, I can't take that. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because I've already typed in $10 and I don't know if I can do that or not. What in the hell? Like, are they not teaching those kids? I don't know. But all I know is they better get it figured out quick, or otherwise they're going to get fucked all the way through life.
I think one of the saddest things to me right now is that our school and our education system does not foster learning, and people don't actually really learn anything. They just memorize things until high school. Honestly, honors English, that you really learn how to analyze text and deep dive into it and really process and understand it and get what it's hinting at and read the subtext and understand the subtlety and nuance that the author is portraying. And so because nobody really cares, nobody really gets educated, nobody really participates in learning, they just memorize and complete tests, nobody is critically thinking, nobody is reading books, nobody is furthering their education. They think that once they graduate, they can stop reading. And it's very tragic because even myself as an adult, I read less than I did as a kid. But I was one of those kids who loved learning, and I loved going to school, and I loved doing math and English and writing and studying, and I loved all of that stuff. And it just makes me sad because I feel like the school system just beats that out of children, and they don't enjoy learning anymore. And if they're curious about things, if they want to ask questions or learn about things that aren't in our history books and our science books, you don't get to foster that creativity.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.